First of all, declined to have a hearing on habeas corpus, and then he declined. Then he told Schleuder that Mr. Schleuder, you're not entitled to a hearing to begin with, so you can't question the quality of the hearing, that you didn't have an attorney, and of course any lawyer can tell you the vicissitudes of being in a court without a lawyer, and I'm not a lawyer, so I'm not going to go into that. And I can understand that. But at any rate, that was in late '45, and in the meantime, we're still in Crystal City, Texas, and then on December 31st, 1946, I'm still on the roster in the Crystal City, Texas. And in April 1947, we were sent to, I don't know, no, I guess I didn't put it on that one. In April 1947, we were sent to Cincinnati to make our final arrangements for deportation. And we were too dangerous to be released, but we were quiet enough to just travel on our own to Cincinnati. And there was another guy that was on this train with us, so there were 6 of us. And between Texarkana and St. Louis, he jumped off a train and committed suicide. So there were some pretty severe consequences of internment. Schleuder's case then went to the Circuit Court of Appeals. And the Circuit Court of Appeals decided it on January 2, 1947, and they upheld Judge Rifkin on the lower court that he was properly denied habeas corpus, and that second of all, it didn't matter that he didn't have a lawyer because he was not entitled to a hearing in the first place at all. And third of all, that the president still had the authority to order deportations even 2 years following hostilities. In the meantime, in October of '46, my parents were notified that the house had been sold at foreclosure, and there was something like $1,300 that were left, that if he ever got released, he could claim it. But, you know, the legal system failed us. We had no more options with the legal system. The executive said, we got to go. Even though I had left Germany when I was a 3-year-old, I was going to have to go there. But on Ellis Island, they sent us to Ellis Island. Senator William Langer convened a subcommittee on the judiciary in July of 1947. And it resulted in a Senate bill called S-1749, and I'm on page 2 of that. And after Dr. Sunich, after I was freed, I took my finals at a high school in Englewood, New Jersey. I sold insecticide for a year, and in New York City, I killed 17,439 cockroaches, demonstrating it. And then at Ohio U, I was at Ohio U, I was on ROTC. And that was the day we passed the review. And then 8 years later, I was naturalized. And in my naturalization proceedings, the room was full like this is, and the immigration guy said, I recommend everybody for naturalization, except I'd like you to read this dossier. And so the judge said, would you stand, please, Mr. Fuhr? So, I mean, everybody wants to be naturalized and get out of there and have lunch, right, and celebrate. And so for about 5 minutes, which is like an eternity, The judge read my dossier, and then he turned to the immigration guy and said, the next time you do that, I'm going to hold you in contempt of court. And then would you sign it? And I was sworn in as a U.S. citizen. I'm proud of that. And I married the gal I met in Crystal City. She put me through college. And I had 3 kids. I think I got 8 grandchildren, something like that. And I want to thank you very much for your kind attention, and I'm open for any questions. Yo, anybody? Yes, ma'am. I'm sorry?
Did you have a choice? Did they ever ask you whether you would like to fight for the Americans? Or?
Yeah, they asked that, but they didn't turn me anyway. As a matter of fact, I turned 18 in Chicago, and I told the inspector there, I said, I've got to register for the draft because that's the law. So now you're interned for the duration of the war, so you can forget about it. I said, well, check on with your superiors, and sure enough, 30 days later, I had to register for the draft, and they took me to Cook County Jail, which was my draft board for the entire war. But they never called me. So, but on the immigration, in this naturalization process, and in my Freedom of Information Pact, there are over 20 letters written to 20 different draft boards asking if I had ever asked for a deferment, and I never did. And at Ohio U, I joined ROTC of my own free will. Yes, sir.
Didn't you have just not too long ago an event on Ellis Island?
Did I have what?
An event.
An event?
Yeah, something happening, and I didn't follow up on it.
December. When you had that in December?
Ellis Island?
Oh, yeah, we had an event on December the 8th. December the 8th, we had and one of the speakers tomorrow, Dr. Shem, arranged that, and German TV filmed it, broadcast it on ARD, and but the reason for it was that was the anniversary of the first day of internment of December the 8th, 1941, and it was also the place it ended. And you know, incidentally, they only closed Ellis Island after a commission determined that Ellis Island was not fit for human habitation. There were 280 still interned in September 1948 on Ellis Island. Now the question is why, and that's really my question. And incidentally, I do these lectures. I don't make any charge for it. I do it in memory of my mother and my younger brother. Yes, sir.
I have a question. Did you have any military there from the German army, prisoners in the camp there?
No, this was strictly civilians. The military guys had their own places. They had more freedom. They could actually work out on a farm, and even some of them even lived on farms.